Family violence is most simply described as threatening, coercive, and abusive behaviour that occurs in the context of a past or current family dynamic. Family violence, also commonly referred to as domestic violence, is a major societal welfare and health problem that can have lifelong effects on both the victims and the perpetrators. Family violence is not restricted to physical violence and can happen to anybody, anytime, regardless of their age, gender, or sexual orientation. In recent years, the definition of family violence has developed to encompass what we now understand to be a broad spectrum of violent behaviours. The significance of this expanded definition is that we now as a society have an improved ability to identify these issues and a greater understanding that these behaviours are not acceptable and that there are resources available to victims seeking assistance or protection. For clarity, and for a universal understanding across Australia, the Family Law Act 1975 has now expanded the classification of family violence to expressly include a number of behaviours, the first of which being assault. Now, this is what many minds will instantly go to when considering the concept of family violence. This is the act of inflicting unwanted physical contact or harm upon a person and could involve an attempt or even a threat to inflict harm. Sexually abusive behaviour is behaviour that usually occurs when a person engages or attempts to engage in sexual activity that is unwanted or where no consent has been given. It is important to know that people who are not conscious and children are not capable of giving consent in any circumstances. Stalking is a crime and involves willfully following or harassing another person that causes fear for one's safety. This includes using electronics or software to monitor a person's movements and activities without their consent. Emotional or psychological abuse can involve any behaviour by a person towards another that intimidates, torments, or is offensive, derogatory, or harassing. Name-calling, threats to disclose personal or private information about another person, reproaching, constantly challenging, belittling, demeaning, mocking, or insulting all constitute family violence. Intentionally damaging or destroying property is a criminal offence, and Section 197 of the Victorian Crimes Act 1958 states that it is a crime to intentionally and without lawful excuse destroy or damage another property belonging to another person. Hurting animals is sadly a common form of abuse that occurs as a means by which family violence perpetrators use to intimidate, control, or threaten their partners and or children. This should be reported to animal welfare authorities, your lawyer, or the police where it's safe to do so. Financial abuse can directly impact the affected family members' ability to leave the relationship if they are worried about how they will afford to take care of themselves and, in some circumstances, their children. This can have an extremely detrimental effect on a person's emotional well-being, confidence, and their sense of independence and autonomy. Signs of financial abuse include not having any direct access to any funds or source of money, and or having to account for and explain any transactions that they might make. Withholding financial support to meet one's reasonable living expenses can be used as a means by which to control another person's behaviour. It can create a fear that financial support will be withheld unless you do or refrain from doing something. This is an abuse of power if the person is dependent upon you for financial means. This may include such things as refusing to provide a person with money for petrol so that they can leave the home. We recommend that you speak to a family lawyer for assistance regarding accessing the financial resources of the relationship if you find yourself in this situation. Attempts to socially isolate a person from their support network is a form of family violence. This may involve preventing or forbidding a person from having contact with family or friends. It might also include ongoing rudeness to people that are close to their partner in an attempt to drive them away. In extreme cases, this may even involve a person requiring that they and their partner move away from their partner's support or social networks. This usually involves a person being physically prevented from exercising their liberty to come and go freely. This can range from being kidnapped to not being permitted to leave your home or even being locked in the house or a room for any period of time against a person's wishes. If you think that you or someone that you care about might be in immediate harm, call the police on 000 for immediate assistance. If you wish to discuss your circumstances or are planning on leaving an abusive relationship and are seeking assistance in formulating a safety plan, we recommend contacting one of the support providers listed on the Department of Justice and Community Safety website. Family law solicitors can help you navigate your way through a legal separation, help you put in place safety measures for children contact arrangements, and provide you with advice regarding the legal options available to you in best protecting yourself and your family where family violence has occurred.